And farming the wind, is it a good thing? And that's where we are going to begin. Wind farms. It's a group of wind turbines brought together on a piece of property for the purpose of generating electricity to power thousands of homes. Well, we've been hearing an awful lot about wind turbines and wind farms, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And now we have the possibility of two of these projects coming to life just south of us, one in Haldimand County and the other in West Lincoln. To find out more about wind farms in general and wind turbines, let's meet the panel. We're joined by Neil Switzer from the West Lincoln Wind Action Group, Deb Murphy from the Glanbrook Wind Action Group, and Marie Traynor, the outgoing mayor of Haldimand County. Welcome to all three of you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Neil, going to start with you. They want to put up 5 wind turbines in the Westbrook Road area. So why do you think this is a bad idea?
Well, initially, I didn't think it was a bad idea. I am very much for green energy. I researched, designed, and built one of the first solar homes in all of Canada. In August the 25th, IPC Energy had a public open house, which I attended to see as to what their proposal was with regards to the 5 turbines. At the open house, there wasn't a lot of information to be provided. So then you start looking into it. You go on the internet. Wind turbine farms have been on Ontario now for 3 to 4 years, so there is some experience, there is some knowledge. And once you start digging into it, you find a whole raft of bad things. And it's just wrong. When it comes down to property values, my major asset is my property. I own a large farm, but again, I can't afford to lose 30–40% of it in its property value or devaluation. Health effects, when you look at the health effects, there's all kinds of ill effects. People are even having to abandon their homes. This is just the beginning of so many things, from birds to farm animals to you name it. It's bad all around.
Deb, let's go to you. You're sort of Neil's counterpart in the Glanbrook region, the Wind Action Group out there in Glanbrook. Are you facing the same problems?
We sort of ran into this West Lincoln project accidentally. They apparently opted not to let any of the Hamilton residents who will be affected by it know, because they decided that they didn't need to let us know. This was a West Lincoln project. Unfortunately, the border of the project happens to be the dividing line between West Lincoln and Hamilton, and there are about 200 homes that come within a 3-kilometer radius of this project, and they absolutely have the potential to be negatively affected.
Can I just get into, you had mentioned problems, and I know that Neil was talking more about I guess the NIMBY issues. They're not in my backyard. Perhaps they're considered to be an eyesore putting up wind turbines. But as far as health effects, there's not too much information about that, is there?
There isn't. Well, there are, according to the wind energy companies, there are all kinds of health studies that are done that indicate that wind turbines don't have any kind of effect on people. But when you speak to the people who are getting sick and having to abandon their homes, they certainly do believe there are health issues, particularly when they leave their homes, their symptoms disappear. When they come back to their homes, their symptoms reappear, and you don't have to really think very hard to think about how long it takes people like that, how many agonizing hours they go through before they finally realize their only option is to leave their home, like just abandon it.
Just to clarify on the panel, we have no medical experts here, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, I mean, we're dealing with, I guess at this point, we're dealing with sort of anecdotal stuff here, but what symptoms are we talking about? Deb, I'll stick with you.
Nausea, headaches, earaches, tinnitus. Some people talk about palpitating hearts. Their heart starts to beat in time with the beat of the wind turbine. Just general malaise, inability to sleep, waking up at just suddenly in the middle of a night, bizarre kind of events, and you can't hear the noise the low tone noise that's actually affecting you. So it's as if there's no known cause. And these symptoms, this is what's really important for people to understand. The people know it has to be the turbines, because when they go away, the symptoms start to disappear. And when they come back home again, they get the symptoms back. And they do this back and forth thing, and it keeps adding up to the same total.
I'll get back to the health effects in just a minute, because I mean, obviously that's one of the critical issues here. I do want to bring Marie into the conversation here. You've sort of been a proponent and a bit of an opponent to this whole project as the outgoing mayor of Haldimand County. So where do you stand right now, Marie?
Well, the wind turbines are definitely good for our farmers. It only for an acre of land, if they have their contract constructed, they will make about $20,000 a year, and just for losing 1 acre of land, that's very good farming. But now for the rest of Haldimand County, I think it's a bad thing. You've got, as was said before, you've got the noise, the vibration, the health concerns, and they need to be there needs to be proper health studies before going ahead. And then there's a difficulty in selling your property. The real estate agents are saying when people see a wind turbine, they walk away. So wind turbines do not produce energy when you need them. It's only when the wind blows. So if they really wanted them to be effective, they would pump water up to a holding tank when the wind blew and use a turbine running off water, which could be turned on at the bottom when the power was needed.
And so, but you were in support of the Summerhaven project, which is the old Nanticoke area. Is that correct? Is that what it's called, the Summerhaven?
Well, we
project?
have 3 projects actually on the go right now. It's Capital Power has got 45 turbines. Next Era has 60, and Samsung has between 50 and 60, along with a 1,000-acre solar farm.
Now we should actually confirm, just so our viewers are aware, Next Era was invited to join us on the panel today. Unfortunately, they didn't call back to confirm, so they're not here represented today. You mentioned the Samsung topic there. That was heralded as a really, really big deal for the province, and I think Mr. McGuinty himself was there to announce the project too. So Neil, I'll go back to you on this question. I guess the more and more people, city folk like myself, we would look at this project and say, okay, they're putting up wind turbines. Wind is a good thing. It's green energy. So why is that a bad thing? And the province seems to be, certainly a proponent of this. Is this a bad thing as we see them involved in this?
Before I answer your question, I would really like to go back to Marie's comments in that it is a good thing for farmers. No, it's not.
Okay.
The farmers are victims too. They were signed up 3-4 years ago, and all that they were sold on by the land agents who come around after hours at night and so on was dollars, dollars, dollars. Without doing anything, they were going to get all kinds of money. Well, that money, in actual fact, yes, they do get maybe $20,000 a year if the wind turbines do produce all the power they're supposed to. But meanwhile, if you actually take a look and talk to real estate agents, that farm, which, say a smaller farm, which may have been $500,000 before the wind option was taken on the property, may only now be worth $300,000 because of all the problems once people look into it. Before you can even sell a property now, you do have to do full disclosure. And if you do have a wind turbine coming adjacent to it or on your property, you've already devalued your property. So it'll take a long time to get that money back. Plus all the stress. One farmer told me, he says he wishes it would all just go away because you pit neighbor against neighbor. If you're going to devalue my property and I've just built a new home, I'm a little upset with you, such that it tears communities apart. It just devastates a community.
So to answer that other question, though, it's disconcerting that the province is so behind this, really, without all the information on the table. Is that what you would say, Neil, or am I putting words in your mouth?
Please restate that then.
Well, the Samsung project, as I used as the example, the province was there heralding this as this great new project for the province and innovation as far as green energy goes. You obviously would have a different story to tell as far as that project goes.
Well, I would love to learn more about the Samsung project because, again, that was a $10 billion project. Mm-hmm. And Samsung, they are a major player in the world, but they're also one of the most corrupt companies in the world, too, who've been shown and been charged with bribery and corruption. It's just part of their corporate structure. And again, we have a deal with the province, but the province will not disclose the full details.
Okay, I want to go back to Marie on this because there's about 70 moratoria on these wind projects in the province. Is Haldimand one of them? Or are they going ahead?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Because we have been touting ourselves as a green energy hub, but that doesn't mean turbines and solar farms. It means all the manufacturing that can come along with it. And we've joined up with the Six Nations and Brantford and Brant County and Norfolk County to tote ourselves as the green energy hub for all of Ontario. So that we thought we could sell ourselves and our land and all the advantages that we have if we went as a package.
Deb, I've got time for one more question, and I'll ask you. I mean, could we have, with these wind turbines, could we be in a situation like we've had over the years where asbestos was thought to be okay at one time, smoking was considered okay. Now we have other issues. For instance, Wi-Fi is also in the news as being a potential danger, unknown danger to us. Could we have this problem with wind turbines in your view?
That's one of the things that people are very afraid of. We haven't done the proper studies, and of course the biggest issue of all, these wind turbines are being close enough that being placed close enough that they have the potential to harm the children. They're being placed too close to schools, they're being placed too close to homes, and children are far more susceptible to the damage from low tone noise than adults are. There's absolutely the potential to be in the same situation we've been in with things like cigarettes and thalidomide and asbestos and all of that. We don't want that to happen. That's why we want the moratorium. We want everybody to stop, do the proper studies, and then move forward from there. This is not an anti-wind turbine movement. This is an anti-doing it before you know what you're doing movement.
And on that note, as I warned you, 10 minutes would go by extremely fast. I want to thank all of you. Neil Switzer from the West Lincoln Wind Action Group, Deb Murphy from the Glanbrook Wind Action Group, and Murray Traynor, the outgoing mayor of Haldimand County. Thank you to all three for joining us today.